Yeah, basically our whole process of record keeping and how we make the FAA happy, among other agencies here. So today, like Cindy said, thank you for introducing me. I'm Chris Fisher. I am an operations specialist here at the Rockford Airport. I've been here for 5 years. Basically an operations specialist. We do all the regulatory inspections for the FAA, and we maintain our compliance with the FAA, TSA, and USDA. And using Cityworks, we're able to do that very efficiently and streamline all our inspections here. So, as I said, Rockford Airport, we are a 139 certificated airport, which means we're required to maintain our documentation and showing our compliance to various agencies like the FAA, TSA, USDA, to name a few. Using Cityworks, we could easily produce, organize, and digitally deliver these documents in a streamlined fashion. Cityworks is already certified with the FAA, and Rockford is one of only a few airports to hold the certification. With COVID, we, like many of you, had a wrench thrown into our day-to-day operations, social distancing, changing of schedules, and everything. Cityworks has played a major role in that, just keeping everybody up to date with what has happened in the last couple days or last month or whatever, without needing to be on site or needing to interact with people in person. Oh, and here's our opening screen. So here is our here we go, our logbook. So our logbook is basically configured from the service request portion of Cityworks. It's our digital logbook for all of our inspections, or logbook entries is what we call them. So when you log into Cityworks, this will be your first screen that pops up, and it'll show you the last 10 days of activity. And so when you log in, you're immediately up to date with the latest and greatest what's going on around the airport, and you could access whatever you are currently working on. Below that, we are able to track our NOTAMs. So NOTAMs, if you don't know, are notices to airmen. It's something that the FAA requires us to issue and keep track of and just maintain. So having that at our fingertips is very, very beneficial to us. This is one of our logbook entries. It's a wildlife strike. We have 37 different 37 different logbook entries in general. Most of our logbook entries utilize custom fields on the right side here, which we can track individually by the different subject matter there. For those that are familiar with the FAA strike database, you'll notice that these fields are pretty similar to the FAA's website, their strike database. And we also, underneath the comments, will add the strike database, or the strike, actually, the report number for the FAA. We could also save the PDF strike report from the FAA website and attach it to this document, which we do. So here is, I mentioned the USDA. So we have bald eagles here at the Rockford Airport. We're located right next to a pretty big river. So our bald eagle activity is we have bald eagles. So in order to harass a bald eagle, we have to pull a permit. And in doing so, we have to show them that we actually have the activity to have that permit. So this date range is about 9 months that I pulled here, and it just shows all the bald eagle activity and where they were, the dates that were there, and we could easily email this off to get our permit renewed. And again, this is our wildlife activity here throughout the airport. It's just another tab that we can easily access and see the latest activity on the airfield. We could also print this off or even just submit it over to the FAA before they get here, so they could see that we are tracking it and we are following our wildlife mitigation plan. Work orders. So we have 4 different types of work orders that we will issue. On the top left is our Part 139 work orders. These are the FAA discrepancies. And they're broken down into 2 categories, ones that are ready to inspect and ones that are currently being worked on or on hold. Our top right tab there is going to be our non-139 work orders. These are preventative maintenance, building maintenance, airfield mowing, things that we still needed to get done, but the FAA doesn't care so much about. Bottom left is our recurring work orders. We have 12 of these currently. Then this is going to be another preventative maintenance thing that we could automatically, the system automatically issues these work orders weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, annually, and we can set that how we want it and submit it to who we want it. And it's just a good way to make sure things are getting done properly and in a timely fashion. And then lastly, we have on the bottom right our GIS work orders. These are for our asset management, and we document these, and for construction and changes out on the airfield, which are always taking place. We could log things that need to get updated that way. So here's our map. I don't have any of the assets turned on for it right now. All I'm showing you here is the work orders. But we've made it uniform to everybody, so everybody sees the same screen here, the same figures. So the red circles are going to be our Part 139 work orders. There are FAA discrepancies. When those are ready to inspect, we change those to green. And then the blue diamonds, those are our non-139 non-139 discrepancies. Those will turn yellow when they're ready to be inspected. And then the light blue squares are our GIS work orders. So this is something that we've just implemented. This is basically a digital blueprint of our terminal. So each room is individually selectable. We're able to issue work orders to specific areas of the terminal. We can also select the equipment such as like the baggage belts or the elevators, the escalators, and issue work orders individually on those. We're working on adding more features such as the jet bridges and the baggage scales, all that stuff. We just have to add individually, and we're just working on getting all that stuff in there. So work assignments. When our maintenance employees come into the building, there's a monitor that's sitting over top of the break room, and this screen is always up 24/7. And so maintenance employee can come into work, look at the monitor, and see exactly what their day is going to consist of. On the left side, we have our Part 139 work orders, and on the right is our non-139 work orders. So they can see these, punch in, and then they can go to their computer and open up their individual account and see their My Work tab. So everybody has a personalized My Work tab, which if a work order is issued, management will divvy out the work orders to various employees. This particular one is a spall repair, and it was issued by one of our operations specialists, Isaac. So if there's any questions that this maintenance employee has, he can go to Isaac and ask him about it. He could open up the 5515, which is the work order number, and he'll be able to see location, a picture if we attach it, comments, and basic information about what they're going to be doing to repair that. So this is our bread and butter. This is what we worked a long time on. This is our actual FAA certified report. This is an automatic report. It runs daily at the end of the day, and it tracks everything about what the FAA wants to see in terms of each day. They want to see 365 of these at the end of the year when they come in for their annual inspection. So it tracks who was on shift, right? The top three names there, who was on shift, who did the airfield inspections, followed by the outstanding work orders on the airfield. What are the discrepancies on the airfield right now? And that shows it right there. Special inspections, which are typically our airport perimeter inspections, followed by the wildlife activity that we had that day, work orders that were issued that day, or work orders that were closed that day, followed by what I mentioned before as our NOTAMs, our active NOTAMs for that day. These reports are checked regularly, and then they're saved to a database to where they can be easily grabbed and sent off whenever the FAA asks for them or during our cert inspection. So here's another report that we can run. This is an on-demand report. This is our training. This is how we log our training. So right now we have our old system that we're using, and we are dual logging it into Cityworks prior to it getting certified. So here we have on the left side is our operations staff, followed by, there's multiple pages below this, but there's our maintenance staff. And we each have different requirements that we have to fill throughout the year. So on the right side is our fuelers, and so they're required to do their safety training and their hands-on training. As you can see, there's different colored dates. The green dates mean that training is about to expire within 90 days, so they have to get recertified. If it's red, which you see there, that means that person is expired. They cannot fuel until they get recertified. So it's a very quick and easy way for us to tell who's certified, who's not certified, where we're at in terms of training. And so we're in the process of getting this certified, like I said. Another inspection report that we're doing is an on-demand report. This one is for our fueling services on the airport. This could be site fuel sites, fuel tanks and pumps, or fuel trucks. Again, we're dual logging this so that we can submit this to the FAA and get that approved. TSA, we have regular TSA audits. They'll come and see, make sure that we're doing what we said we're going to be doing. So on the left, we have about a week worth of perimeter inspections, times that they were done, dates that they were done. On the top right, we have our TSA security audit. And this is our, ID challenges, gate lock inspections, and then at the terminal, we have to do prohibited items inspections, making sure things that shouldn't be in the terminal are not in the terminal. We also have several other reports, aircraft parking, charter flights, and diverted flights. Those are mainly internally used. We can keep record of, internal billing and record keeping, just plain record keeping for those. We also do logbook. We can print off logbook reports and work order reports. So with the metrics page, we're able to track logbook entries, how many logbook entries for which type. So airfield related work order or airfield related entries are on the top left, and then our NOTAM related entries are in the top right. NOTAM and security related entries. And the bottom just tracks our work orders by type. And then here we have our KPI. So using our KPI, we can see the time it takes to remedy a work order or a group of work orders. Just from here, we can see in the top left area there, it took us a little bit longer to get our paint markings remedied. Now we can look at this and say, well, why? Why did that happen? We can click on these work orders and see when they were issued. If they were issued in the fall, we know that maybe it was getting too cold to paint, and 6 months later, we got them done. So using this KPI, you can see if there's an issue and why, or if there's not an issue and here's why. So it just gives us an extra tool in our pocket when we go, to maybe add staffing or reallocate some staffing somewhere else. And it's just an extra tool in our pocket to see what exactly is going on. So coming up next, as far as our growth, like I said, we're going to be expanding the use of our terminal and what we can do with that digital blueprint. We're also going to be adding other buildings and other internal facilities that we have. I didn't speak of this at all, but our remote use via employee cell phone. So right now, when those employees come into work, they have to log into a computer to see what's going on with their day, right? With their My Work tab. So using their cell phones, they'll be able to log in and access their My Work tab out on the field. They won't have to be off the field. They'll be able to go out in the field, find the work order, add their equipment, labor, materials. They'll be able to mark the work order ready for inspection. And then if they have another work order to jump to, they could jump right to it. They don't have to come back here and go back and forth. It's just very easy access for them. We're working on automating more reports. We'd like much like our 139 report, how it's run automatically every day. And we're also working towards additional FAA certified reports, like I mentioned with our training records and there was one other one, the training records, and then our fueling records. So right now we're in the data collection process of that. And so once we get enough data, we can submit that over to the FAA, and they could suggest their changes and go from there. I'll hand it back over to Cindy here.